There you go, Lisa. That is your tune to come live on here. All right.
Sweet. Okay, sharing screen. I think we get into it.
I'm back.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Awesome. Can see the screen? We're good?
We are good, my friend.
Let's go for it.
All right. Hey, everyone. Firstly, just a massive thank you guys for just being excited with us, for joining us. Amanda and I have got heaps of our closest best friends on here, and lots of people that we went to school with, we know from Wellington, from business. And so we just want to say we so feel the love, we appreciate the support. So welcome to our first masterclass. And as you guys would have seen on our social media, this is basically our 6-step process to create multiple streams of revenue. So getting started, we thought it would be good to obviously introduce ourselves as coaches of what we're about to launch. And just starting with myself, for those that don't know me, this is a little bit about myself. I am a single mom to my beautiful girl, Maya, who just turned 6 today. She is my world. She is my everything. I've also had the privilege to be an international speaker and speak on multiple stages, which is a huge honor. And probably one of the highlights of my career last year was speaking at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas in front of thousands of people. I am a business coach. I've also been able to co-author a book, and I am in the top 1% of my social marketing company as well. And then just a little bit of my experience. I have been in the health and fitness industry for the last 10 years. I'm a qualified personal trainer. And I've been running a successful online business for the last 8 years. Multi-6-figure online business earner. And I've also been able to, probably the massive highlight for me is actually helping other women create that and, have that for themselves. I'm a coach and a leader, and I currently have 6 revenue streams of income, but more to come. On to you, Mans.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Hi, everybody. For those that don't know me, my name's Amanda Smith. Like Joe said, so grateful and happy to have you all here. It's a privilege. So for just a bit of an intro about me, first and foremost, I'm a mum to my beautiful kids, Ryder, Cairo, and Willow. My boys are, as you can see, taller than me now, which is crazy. From a career perspective, I am a digital product manager. So I've worked on a lot of digital projects and products throughout my career. And I'm also a property investor and an Airbnb superhost, so passionate about both of those things. In terms of some of my achievements and some of the things that I want to share with you, have been working in the digital transformation industry for over a decade now, specializing in financial services, so big enterprise organizations with lots of really complicated and interesting projects and products. Have had a bit of experience with property investment, absolutely love it, have done everything from, renovating own home to renovating and flipping other homes to renovating and holding homes, passionate about the short-term stays in Airbnb, as you'll see a little bit later on in the presentation. And currently 6 revenue streams. So we're calling this out because obviously this is about creating revenue streams, but it's also a passion for both Joe and I, and it's something we really want to share and lean into. So many more to come is the plan. So in terms of today, I hope those introductions helped, if you don't know us, helped you get to know us a little bit more. But in terms of today, we really want to take some of the biggest lessons and golden nuggets that we've learned along our financial journeys, and they have been journeys. We were speaking today about, the type of coaching we've engaged with, the type of people we've engaged with to learn what we know today. But we want to share that all with all of you, which is really exciting. We've got a passion and a drive. If you know us, then you know. We want to share this framework, and we really have a passion around taking control of finances and creating multiple and sustainable streams of revenue. So just a quick FYI, so I really want you to stay to the end if you can. And Joe and I really are very transparent and open. So we wanted to say this right from the beginning so that you're aware. I don't know if you've been to many masterclasses before, but basically at the end of this, we're going to be announcing and launching our very first offer, which is a coaching program. For those of you who are live, there's a bit of a bonus offer that comes with it. Obviously, it's we want to pour as much as we can into this masterclass. This is an hour long. We're going to give you everything that we can. And obviously, there's no obligation for any of our offer in our program, but we just wanted to make it really clear and be really transparent with you all that that's what will be happening at the end. So if you can, please stay tuned. And I'm going to hand over to Joe, a bit of prep for the class.
Love it, Mans. So you guys are going to get heaps of value out of tonight. So definitely just grab a pen and paper. We are hoping that you are going to be able to learn a lot just from tonight's class. And like Amanda said, you know, no obligations, even if you choose not to carry on. Hopefully out of just this 1 hour, you'll be able to just take a lot of golden nuggets away to implement into your own life. Definitely stay hydrated. Grab your choice of drink, water for sticks, tea, wine, whatever floats your boat. Stay hydrated, and definitely try and stay present. We hope we are not boring, but you know, just to retain the information and enjoy it as well. And if you can, put away any distractions, put away the kids. So just a couple of things that you guys will learn today and that we are gonna power through. First thing being a mindset, self-belief, and tools and strategies that have helped us both. Our framework to help you get clear about your current finances, and then insights into obviously starting an online business by leveraging your existing skill sets. Our steps and process to get ahead financially. Number 5, an overview of property income streams and how you guys can maximize that. Process to create a 90-day game plan and really get into action to achieve the goals and the dreams that you guys have for the year. And then obviously, as Amanda mentioned, we are gonna launch with you guys first. You guys are the first ones to hear what is happening before it launches to the public. So I can thank you guys. And lastly, there will be an opportunity for any questions and a wrap up. So as we go through all the different modules, if you've got any questions, chuck it in. I'll write it down, sorry, and we'll get a chance to answer those at the end as well. So let's get straight into it. Module 1 is with myself, and it is on something that I'm passionate about, and that is mindset and self-belief. And I just wanted to start with this quote, you know, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And, you know, for those that know me, and those that don't know me, you know, I feel like when I think about where I am in my life right now, I do truly believe that mindset and self-belief has been a pivotal part in me getting here. I haven't always had a strong mindset, you know, I've lacked confidence, I've doubted myself. And so this is something I've had to practice and learn over the years. And I believe a big part of changing your mindset and self-belief starts with awareness. And so you may not have even thought about it before or stopped to even think that, you know, maybe you don't have the best mindset, and that's okay. And the fact that you're here and the fact that you are invested in learning shows us that you are willing and you're wanting to change your mindset. So if you're thinking about success, a property portfolio, we've got lots of quotes in tonight's presentation, just FYI.
We like quotes.
Favorites. It's really just around choosing your hard. And this is, I believe, this has helped me because at the end of the day, everything is a choice. You know, working in a 9-to-5 that you don't enjoy is hard. And putting your child in daycare is hard. Equally, learning a new business or learning about buying property is hard. Buying property, all of that gives me a headache. You know, being unhealthy and uncomfortable in your skin is hard. And when you get up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym, that is hard. Man, just flick to the next slide, please. So those are just a couple of examples there. What I love about this quote is, when I see this and I read this, it's really about taking full ownership of your life, whether you love where you're at right now, financially, health, happiness, or whether you have improvements. You can own that and fully have the capacity to change that. So there are going to be some sacrifices that you need to make. It's not easy, and we aren't here to promise it's easy. If it was easy, everyone would be living their dream life, right? But it is worth it. And when you have time to be with your loved ones, the income to live a life of choices, you won't look back and think, why did I make those sacrifices? If anything, you will thank your future self for making the sacrifices and the choices to give you that life. So again, just taking ownership of your choices you make every day is entirely up to you, which is incredible, because that means we are in control of our life and our future. So you guys may have seen this photo in the background that I shared just the other day. And it really is just being raw and vulnerable about my past, and just quickly to share, it's a long story, but I'll share the very 30-second story of it. But I have suffered from addiction to ice, where I have hit rock bottom. I have been absolutely debt ridden with over $70,000 worth of debt, only dreaming of earning a six-figure income, dreaming of being a property owner. I didn't even think that those things were possible. And with a lot of hard work, and that's why we wanted to start with the mindset and self-belief, I've had to change a lot to get where I am today. And in saying that, I haven't always believed in myself. I've made mistakes, as I mentioned, and I just share this hopefully just to encourage you to know that no matter where you are in your life, you can rebuild yourself. You can start to believe in yourself and know that you too can live a life that you love. So a couple of ways that you can, really start to grow your mindset and your self-belief. Listen to your self-talk and mind your mind. We are so hard on ourselves, and, we say some horrible things to ourselves. We are our biggest critics. And again, just that whole self-awareness piece is just really just being mindful of that when those thoughts come in, and being like, actually, no, I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. I am capable. I'm willing to learn. So just really listen to that self-talk, pull yourself up on it, and start talking positive about yourself. Start backing yourself, start affirming yourself. And these are two things that Amanda and I have done. Sometimes possibly too confident. We always laugh about it. And also, own your uniqueness. Even if you can't spell like myself, where it says you're all beautiful in our own unique ways. But it's true, we're all so different. I refer to our group of friends that are on here with us, but every single one of us, we've got our own strengths. We've got things that we want to work on, but that's what makes us unique. So own that. And then the last one is really just assessing who is in your circle. And Amanda and I have spoken about this on our podcast recently, but this is a biggie, because you really are the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with. And just being able to be real with it. It's not saying going and cut all your best friends, absolutely not. But it is just being, again, aware of the conversations that you are around. Is it around people that are just negative and moaning about their life and moaning about where they're at? Or are you around people that uplift you and breathe belief in you and tell you, yes, start that business, yes, try that thing? Because I know for Amanda and I, they are the kind of people that we want to be around. So hopefully that's a snippet into mindset and self-belief, which is really going to lead into the rest of the modules.
Awesome. Thanks, Jo. I love all of that. Jo is the queen. She doesn't really, I think, put enough weight into the amount of work she's done on this, but she's amazing. If you get the longer than 30-second story one day, we'll see. So yeah, over to me. I am going to talk through our framework to help you get clear about your current finances. And I love this quote. I don't know if anybody knows Dave Ramsey. He is great. He's all about money mindset, finance, and all of that. But He says you must gain control over your money or the lack of it will forever control you. And I can agree with that because that was me for a very, very long time. We said there were lots of quotes and there are going to be lots of quotes. So just to sort of set the scene here, I know talking about finances, and maybe it's a generational thing, but I know that it can be super overwhelming. I know it can be confronting. It can be seen as rude even, depending on how you grew up and what that was like. You know, I know it's seen as rude to ask people how much they earn or what they do for a living and what money they get from that. So, yeah, I know all of those things, and it can also be seen as embarrassing, but just wanted to set the scene and say, we're not going to be like that today. We're going to be super open and honest. And, you know, I know some people can struggle with money type issues and content, and thinking about it is, you know, just too much. But if that is the case, I really challenge you to, you know, sit through and just really, I suppose, take this in and see what you can get from it. I understand all of that because, as I said, I've been there. I have lived paycheck to paycheck. I have gotten into student debt, like Joe talked about. We've done the same thing. I've spent way more than I was earning, you know, living a lifestyle that I could not afford, not living within my means. And it sucks, to say the least. And I'm sure there are people here that understand that and can relate to that as well. So we've got a 3-step framework we're going to share today. First step is mindset. It's slightly builds on what Joe was talking about with mindset overall, and it's going to sort of get into that foundation of money mindset, which is a thing if you don't know. And then second is capture. We're going to talk through that confronting step of figuring out what your current picture is. And then last step is reviewing it. So taking that step back from the stuff you've just captured and figuring out what that picture is actually telling you. So let's get into it. I'm going to go pretty quickly through this because there's quite a bit to cover, but there is going to be a recording if you want to come back to it. So don't mind my speedy talking. So mindset, again, another quote. So remember that money will always match your mindset. And I couldn't agree with that more, personally speaking as well. I know I had a really poor money mindset. And I think it was, you know, when I reflect, probably partly to do with the way that I grew up and how, you know, the people that were around me and the conversations that were had. I'm sure people can relate. But yeah, wanted to introduce this concept when I'm talking about mindset. If you haven't seen this before, it's referenced from Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. I recommend that book if you haven't read it. But he speaks about, you know, 2 different types of mindset when he's talking about money. So scarcity versus abundance. So I like this visual because it sort of shows, you know, if you have a scarcity mindset, you're so consumed with how you're going to pay that next big bill, how you're going to pay the daycare, you know, rates that have just gone up, how you're going to buy the right healthy food that you want to buy for your family. Like, it's just consuming. So that's sort of what this visual is showing, is that if you have those worries, all of that super overwhelming, super all-consuming, and all of the things that you should be or want to put time to, like the coloured pictures or boxes in here, you just don't have the capacity. You can't even, you know, get yourself ahead. You can't even think long-term. You can't enjoy yourself and even think about self-improvement because you're so worried about, you know, money matters. And I know this because that was me. So this is a time when that was me. This is my beautiful boy. This is Ryder. He's now 16, nearly 17. But when we had Ryder, well, it was actually a bit of a surprise. We bought our first house and we were so excited. It was, you know, we were able to pay for this house and afford it. We didn't even think about the fact that we probably couldn't afford it on one salary though. So, you know, gone through the process, really excited, moved into our first home and found out amazing news that we were pregnant with our first child. So I know at this point in my life, I was, when I realized, oh gosh, we're going to be down to one salary and maybe a little bit of maternity pay, but we're really going to be down to one salary to pay for this house, and we just could not afford it. So that was all that consumed my mind. So if you think of that visual I just shared, that was all that I was thinking about when I should have been thinking about, you know, the fact that I was going to be a mum for the first time. But I just share that because I know, you know, I know that might resonate with people when whilst it might not be a baby, it might be something else. I just wanted to share that as an example. So scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset. Wanted to give some examples to really solidify this for everyone. So If you're someone that has a scarcity mindset, you're someone that is making excuses. I don't have time to work on a side hustle. If they succeed, how can I? They don't want to celebrate other people. I'm never going to have enough money to afford that, or I really can't earn that much money in a year ever, versus the abundance mindset where you're saying things like, I'm going to make the time to work on that side hustle. I love this one. There's room for everyone to win. So that is a big one for Joe and I. We celebrate all our beautiful friends' successes, and they celebrate ours as well. And we really truly believe that there's space for everybody to win. And I think especially as women, we have this tendency to maybe not be that way inclined sometimes, but it's so important, I think, for all of us to lift each other up and genuinely mean it. And then just, my earning potential is limitless. So you can see the differences in thoughts there between those two different mindsets. So what? I've spoken a little bit, quite a bit on mindset there. Like, why is it so important when we're talking about getting our finances in order? Because what you think impacts what you do. So it's not like you're going to think it and something's just going to happen, but it is going to mean that you're going to, either do certain things or not do certain things. So it, really determines what you're focusing on. It really has that impact. So that's why it's foundational, we believe, when you're looking at getting your finances in order. So a few ideas to improve your money mindset. Environment, we've already spoken about that, or Joe has, but we'll say it again. Who you surround yourself with really does matter. Gratitude, writing things down. If you don't journal already, writing things down that you're grateful for rather than focusing on the things you don't have. Giving thanks, so important and should be done daily. I know I've introduced that and it's made such a difference to me. And then redirecting thoughts. So, really noticing your thoughts and listening to them and actually questioning them. I know we all have a lot of, limiting beliefs that we hold that probably aren't even true, 99% of them. So just being aware of that and taking the time to figure out why you're feeling that way. Those are all really great ways to help improve your mindset if that's something you're interested in. So moving on from mindset, step 2 is capture. Another Dave Ramsey quote. See, I told you I like Dave Ramsey and I like quotes. So it's a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. I'm sure everyone can relate to not knowing where their money went when they get paid and, paid on a Tuesday and they can't find any money by a Friday. This step, warning, this step is confronting AF. I know when we did this for the first time, my partner and I, it was, sort of stunned silence after we'd gone through the steps to capture everything, because we were just like, what the heck? There's going to be a few WTF moments. It is not fun laying everything out. It's not fun looking at your finances with a magnifying glass. It's overwhelming. There's thoughts of how on earth did I get here? But you just really have to persevere when you get to this capture step. So what do you need to do? If you haven't already, we have created a free budget and debt template plus a checklist, which sort of really steps through the all of the steps required to do this step. But at a high level, capture is all about capturing. So getting all of the information together into your budget, and super important, doing that on an annual basis. I don't know if anyone here has done budgets before, but maybe they're on weekly, fortnightly, monthly, but that is a really easy way to actually miss and not see the proper full picture. So annual is the way to go and the way to do it. So capturing all your income from all sources, all your outgoings, all your debt, including all the interest rates and repayments, end dates. See, this is why it's confronting. I think maybe you're figuring that out now, but really getting super clear on all of the things that are going on with your finances. This can take a little bit of time too, by the way. It's not something that you can just, do instantly. Also, reviewing bank statements, digital banking, phone subscriptions is a really good way to sort of capture, things you might have forgotten. Some tips for it. Like I said, it's not something that happens super quickly. I know it probably took us, to be honest, a month or so to do it. So I think we needed a break from each other too. So we probably had, a week, and then we start talking again the next week. So yeah, it probably took us about a month. But if you allocate even an hour per night to try and get through it, that would be a great way. Getting your partner, husband, wife involved is really crucial, right? Especially if you're operating money together as a team, you have to act like a team. And it means that you both have to get really uncomfortable with the stuff together. And then again, reviewing bank statements, all of that is great to find things you've forgotten. So that's the capture step. Again, if you want the budget template, just go over to our Instagram and you'll see it in our bio there. And then last step is review. So I like this one. The secret of budgeting is that it needs to be honest, not what you think it should be or wish it could be, but what it really is. And again, that's that, I suppose, calling out that confronting thing. Once you've captured it all down and you're looking at it, you're like, oh gosh, I spend that much on coffee for me. Don't know what it is for all of you, but I spend too much on coffee. So what now? What is review about? So first of all, it's awesome to get this far. Time to step back. What is your budget actually telling you? What are you spending your money on? And be ruthless. Like, are your spending habits aligning with your goals? Or are you just wondering, why am I not achieving that goal of saving 10,000 for my first house? But then you're looking at, spending 1,000 a month on grocery takeaways or restaurants, So just be really ruthless and open and honest with that. A good way to do it, so some tips, is to color code all of your costs into hard versus soft. So hard costs are all of your, essentials. So your mortgage and rent, electricity, food, things you need to live, versus, don't hate me, soft costs, which are things like entertainment, nails. I've got my nails done. So yeah, nails, takeaways, they're not essential. So yeah, be really ruthless. You haven't cut anything yet, but you're just noting down what's soft versus hard. So getting super clear on that. And then and it's good to do this with your partner or whoever you're budgeting with, but analyzing those areas of spend and just really asking yourself again, is it helping you move towards or away from your goals? And then last but not least, are you in the red or the green? So red or green explanation. Red, if you're in the red, then you are you're spending more than you earn. That's where I was. FYI, or are you in the green? Do you have some surplus income each month? So be really clear on that. It's a scary picture, it's a scary task, but it's once you get through it, if you can get through all of those steps, honestly, it's so much more rewarding, and all of the decisions that you make, ongoing about financials just come easily because you've actually set the time out to look at the picture properly. So that is us for this module. Just to recap, we went through mindset, which is the foundational stuff, scarcity versus abundance. We went through capture, which is the not so fun activity you have to do to capture all of the information that you need, and then review. So actually going through and having a look and reviewing and letting your budget tell you what it needs to. That was fast, but I'll hand over to Jo now. Jo?
Thanks, Mans. Sorry, I muted myself because I feel like I'm really loud while you're talking. Hopefully you guys, I'm sure you guys got a lot of value out of that, because really just identifying where you're at financially before you get into the next steps is obviously crucial. So module 3 is really just insights into starting an online business. And the reason why you probably really want to look into this is, as you guys know, the world really is evolving, and COVID really pushed everyone to start thinking outside the box, or thinking of businesses and jobs that people can do from home or online. And really, I believe that multiple streams of income is just a necessity now. It's not even an option with the increase in the cost of living, interest rates, all the things. People are needing that additional stream of income. And something that I think is really interesting is that people just do business different now. Gen Zs are now thinking about creating businesses online before working at McDonald's like I did. And a great example is Amanda's son, Ryder, and that's what he's doing. He has created an amazing online business that he's about to launch, but that's kind of where we're at in life. So people are looking for opportunities, as I mentioned, to really just increase their household income. You'll get to work for yourself, work your business in and around your children, your lifestyle. And another great thing about, starting your own business is you really get to learn. You grow as a person, you grow as a leader, you grow as an entrepreneur. You make mistakes, you fail, but that's really where the growth comes. So just a little bit about my story with regards to my online business. So I've been running an online business for 8 years now. It is with a network marketing company, and I'm not here to talk about that, but what I do want to talk about is just really the skill sets and the experience that I've had with that. So at the time I was working full-time as a personal trainer, and I started an online business pretty much, I guess the reason why most people do, as a side hustle to just bring in that extra income for my household. As I mentioned earlier, I had a lot of debt, and full-time income just wasn't gonna cut it. I needed more income. And I guess one of the benefits is really just being able to work it from your phone in and around life. So that was helpful. And in your own time, it's been able to create many opportunities. As I mentioned, so much growth and so many doors that have been opened, speaking internationally, being able to publish a book, travel opportunities as well for myself and my daughter, and just really being able to experience life. Another big one is really just the community and the people that I get to be around, leaders, entrepreneurs that are just years ahead of where I want to be. So I get to be in those circles and ask them what they're doing and get tips and get help from them and learn from them. And lastly, it's just really developed me as a leader and a coach. So really just talking about online businesses, why we want to talk about it with you guys is just to obviously encourage you. Like, if you don't have an online business, start thinking about it, whether it is with a network marketing company or whether it is your own online business. So if you haven't thought about it, I just wanted to bring this to you guys because, as I mentioned earlier, in owning our uniqueness, we've got so many different gifts and talents and skills. I mean, if you look at myself and Amanda, the great thing is we both bring different strengths together. And likewise, all of you guys on here, you've got your own gifts and you've got your own talent. So this is just something to think about and encourage you guys, like, why not take a leap of faith, start your own business. And these are key things that you could look at to start really racking your brain. So what are you an expert in? What do people ask you about? I don't know. It could be that you make the most amazing, healthy school lunches. I know a friend of mine that does it, and that's what made me think of it. And people are constantly asking her, and she's sharing the recipes. People will pay for that. Amanda and I were laughing. I saw somewhere that someone created an online course on how to walk their cats. I kid you not. But I said to Amanda, I was like, well, if I was to buy a cat, that's something that I would probably Google. Like, how do you walk your cat? Like, is there a right or wrong? I don't know. But it sounds silly, but there's so many different things that people are willing to learn and want to know. And you guys are an expert in something that we don't even know that you guys could potentially coach us in. Okay, so what is your genius zone? What's your strengths? What are your passions? The next thing is, who is the person that you are wanting to help? Who is your ideal client? Is it a stay-at-home mom that's making all these lunches and wants healthier tips? How old are they? And the more specific that you can be, the better. Really nail your niche. The third thing you want to think about is, what is the problem you solve? What is their pain point? Because that's really going to be the transformation that you are able to help people with. And obviously, how do you solve this problem? What solutions do you bring to the table, and what sets you apart? And then from there, really what you're going to do is just really brain dump all of your ideas, put together an amazing signature offer that has a transformation that you can then teach to others. And, it is scary. You know, Amanda and I have been scared about putting ourselves out there on social media. We get it. We are in the trenches with you guys, you know, but this quote says it all, you know, because courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is a quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again, you know, and that's what we said when we started our podcast. We didn't know how it was going to go, but we thought, why not? The only way to see how things go is to give it a go, back yourself. Worst case scenario, we just stop doing it. So, you know, Forbes has announced that digital marketing is actually going to be one of the top paying jobs in 2023. So it's something that you guys want to consider and jump onto an online business. And again, like this webinar is all about, is really building those multiple streams of revenue. On to you, my friend.
Awesome. Am I unmuted? Yes, I am. Thanks, Jo. Yes. Who knew that you walk cats though? Like seriously, when you told me that, I was like, I didn't even know you had to walk a cat. I thought they just walked themselves. So yes, that's just highlighting there is a niche for everybody. Cool. So module 4. So we have 6 modules altogether. So we're up to number 4 now. This is our 5-step process to get ahead financially. Yes, I'm going to talk about finances again. I'm a little bit obsessed if you can't tell. So quote, as always, from Nelson Mandela, there is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. And we love that one. And I think we've spoken a lot about, you know, mindset in the beginning and feeling worthy and feeling like you know, have so much more to give, but you just don't know the steps or the way to get there. So I'm going to start with that. So some things to think about, first of all, when you're thinking about money. Money's nothing. It's not evil. It's not bad. It's not sad. It's nothing. It's just a tool. The way that I look at money, though, the way that, you know, I view it as something that can provide me with choice and freedom. And that's choice and freedom with the people that I care about the most. So my family and my friends, right? I like that if I want to take my family on a holiday, I can book that holiday and do that. So I just wanted to call out, because I know there's all of these relationships with money, but just calling out, it's not, money isn't any of those things. And again, that's a mindset thing, I suppose, to work on. So 5 steps. Again, I'm going to talk super quick because there's quite a bit to get through. There is a recording. So let's just get into it. So we're going to talk a little bit about discipline, then about expense reduction. It's really following on from the capture stuff that we've done, that I spoke about in module 2. And then about automation, which is a life hack that I found out way too late in life. Debt reduction, again, a life hack with some surprising tips in there. And then additional income. So sort of just building on what Jo was just speaking about, with building some sort of online business or side hustle that can generate more income. So discipline is definitely the first up. Again, the foundation. So small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. And I'm sure you can relate to that if you've done anything sort of health and fitness wise. You know, you might not see anything in the first week of going to the gym, even though you think you should because you've worked so hard and you're so sore and you can't sit down on the toilet, but it takes time. So, you know, really just being consistent and being disciplined with your finances is the same type of thing. It's the same dealio. So things to think about with discipline, super essential. It's really similar to mindset, like I've spoken about. And, you know, like health and fitness goals, you're never perfect all the time. You know, that just never happens. You're always going to have off days and you're always going to sort of take a step backwards. But that's okay. That's okay. Just get back on and make sure you get that, get really clear about why you're doing what you're doing. So some tips, and it is about the why, to help you with your discipline. And we've found, Jo and I found that this has really helped us in a number of areas in our life. But yeah, writing down your why and being super specific, like why do you want to take control of your finances? What is the bigger picture goal? Print it, put it somewhere, make it so you can see it, and just really refer to it when you're having those moments of weakness, which do come. And again, like I said, nothing's perfect all the time. So just, you know, obviously, if you can be as consistent as possible, you're going to see some results. So next one is expense reduction. Too many people spend money they haven't earned. Yes, I did that. To buy things they don't want. Yep. To impress people that they don't like. So that's a quote from Will Rogers. And I did that one first because we're going to be looking at ways in which we can get a better picture out of budget that we've created or spoken about in that capture stage, right? So if you get to the stage, you've gone through, capturing, and you've gone through reviewing, you've worked on your mindsets, you've done all of those things, yay. Now it's not fun. So what now? It's time to see how you can reduce expenses. So this is super important whether you're in the green or in the red. If you're saving on your expenses, any money saved, regardless of what bucket you're in, is going to be more money in your pocket. And that's what you want, because you want extra money to be able to invest and do other things with, and start to buy things and get things that are going to be generating money for you. So yeah, super important step to do, and some tips for it, of course. This is a hack. So reviewing your insurances, so easy, and people just don't do it because you haven't bothered, right? But you'll find lots of savings in there because insurance premiums go up all the time, and you're never going to be on the best deal that you could be on. I'm sorry if anyone here is working in insurance. I just know that that's something that we've had a win with, so sharing it here. Similarly, utilities. Those prices go up all the time, right? Power goes up, and all of the bills go up. So just taking time, and this can just be on an annual basis, but you'll be surprised at how much you would be able to save. And then third step is reviewing your subscriptions. I'm guilty of this. Do you need to have every single streaming app that exists under the sun? Probably not. So just having a look at how you might be able to streamline some of those costs is good. And then last but not least, I don't want to be unpopular, but reviewing your soft costs and being ruthless. So those nails and that hair, if you're in the red, I think it's really a time to be looking at what you're spending your money on, whether you need to be. So be super ruthless with those. It's not forever, I think we wanted to know as well, making these changes to get ahead to, buy assets or things that are going to make you money. It's a time, right? So it's a sacrifice for a time. It's not something that's going to be you for the rest of your life, but just while you're trying to get ahead, definitely an awesome step. So yeah, overarching goal of this step is to really just make sure you're getting your budget in the green, and you've got some money to play with to do some fun stuff. So either investing or reducing your bad debt. So next step, we're going to talk about debt. I think another step ahead of this, but first wanted to talk about budget automation. I don't know if anyone does any of these steps, but I will share and see what you think. So I like this quote: once your money's in balance, you can stop worrying about it. Managing your money becomes automatic. And I, thanks, Joe. I know. So yeah, budget automation. So this is all about your money automatically going where it needs to go without your intervention, because as soon as you try and get involved with it, guaranteed you're going to be putting more money over to your spending account than you need to. So it's a way to make sure that you've got you're following the budget you've created. You're really being super clear about where your money is going, and you're not deviating from it, and you're not tempted to touch it, right? So some tips for this. It's all about your account setup. This blew my mind when I did this, because I don't know about all of you, but honestly, I had the most crazy setup of accounts. It was so confusing. But yeah, getting clear on your income. So having all of your income going into an account that directs money to your bills account, which pays all of your bills automatically. And then setting up a day-to-day account, which is the one with the FPOS card that you can spend. So setting up the bills account where all your outgoing bills are coming from, super important. Super important to set your bills up on direct debit or automatic payment, just to make sure that they're getting paid when they need to be paid, and you're not getting yourself into more debt because things are adding up because you forget to pay that bill. So sounds small, but ends up adding up if you don't do it. And then having that day-to-day account with an FPOS card. So it's the only account that you've got with the FPOS card, and you're paying into it weekly, and you're only putting money in there that is enough for the week for your essentials like food and petrol for the week. So it's a good way to make sure that you're not overspending, because I don't know about you all, but I know when everything was all sort of in one bucket, it was just way too confusing, and I thought I had money that I didn't. So budget automation, life hack for sure. And yeah, overarching goal for that step is really to have as little interaction as possible. And you have to have done your budget before this step, by the way. So number 4, debt reduction plan. Who hates debt? So it always seems impossible until it's done. Jo will probably share more on her journey and her story a bit later, but, you know, we've got similar stories as well, but her one astounds me because, you know, she really worked super hard to get herself out of that hole, which can feel, I don't know if all of you have been in this position, but when you are feeling like you're under a cloud of debt, it just consumes you, and it's horrible for all areas of your life. So yeah, debt reduction plan is an amazing way to go. So in prep for a debt reduction plan, so you would have captured your total debt. Again, that's a sheet on our budget spreadsheet. You're going to have reduced expenses like we just spoke about. So you're getting yourself into the green. So you've got some money to play with. And you've captured, you know, all of the debt is also showing all of the interest rates and the repayment amounts and end dates and all of that. And just a quick disclaimer, so Jo and I are absolutely not financial advisors. We're just going to share things and methods and ways that we've worked. Always recommend doing your own research, but we know, I suppose what we're sharing is validated by our own experiences rather than us having a qualification. So just have to do that disclaimer. So there's an overview for the debt reduction stuff. So we're going to have a quick chat about good debt versus bad debt, and then a couple of methods. So the snowball method, and then letters to debtors. That rhymes. I don't know, that number 3 blew my mind, but anyway, we'll get to it. So good debt versus bad debt, just very quickly, I'm sure most of you know. So good debt typically has a lower interest rate, something that will grow with value over time, like house, business, education, and helps increase your credit history and is within your budget, which is important. So a few examples of what we're talking about when we're talking about good debt. And then bad debt is typically higher interest rates, not backed by a value increasing asset, like credit cards, and unplanned within your budget, and can have a negative impact against your credit score. So that's a very high level overview. It's probably a lot more to it, but that will do for now. And then this is the first method. So Jo and I have both done both of these methods, by the way. So snowball method, if you haven't heard of it, it basically is a method where you have your list of debts that you owe, and you attack your smallest debt first and pay that off. So all of the extra money you've saved from reducing your expenses and adding income from new side hustle, you're going to group that together and pay off the smallest loan first. And then you're going to keep doing that, move to the next smallest loan, until they've all gone. This is just a really cool way, I think, personally speaking, to see progress. So, you know, obviously having, I know when we were in a lot of debt, we had all these stupid little credit cards and personal loans and crap. So it was just really about, I suppose, feeling it like it was an accomplishment to be able to pay them off and see them being paid off. So yeah, this is a really cool method. And if you've done your work with a budget spreadsheet and you've captured your debt, you can really easily see which one you want to attack first. Highly recommend this one. And then this one, I don't know if this is going to blow all of your minds, but did you know you can actually go and talk to your debtors, either call them, write them a letter, send them an email, and request a change in terms? And you'll be surprised at how open people are to this type of conversation. So, you know, obviously you're committed to paying the debt and you want to pay the debt, but sometimes it's just so overwhelming and you don't have any, you just don't have enough money to cover everything that you need to cover, right? So some of the things that you can ask these organizations, because at the end of the day, they want the money to be paid, you know, that's what they want. So if you're honest and open with them, letting them know you're struggling or letting them know that you've got a plan to pay debt down and you want to pay them, then, you know, they'll be super open. So you could ask to freeze or stop the interest rates or request a lower rate, reduce the payments or stop payments while you clear other high interest debt. So if they agree to that, there'll be no impact to your credit score as well. You could reduce payments or stop payments while you clear other high interest debt. Or, you know, you can even go, say you've got 5K owing to a certain place, but 2K of that is interest. You could say, look, I can pay 3K today and can we clear the debt? And you'll be surprised. They'll say yes. So yeah, lots of times they do anyway. So I think that's a bit of a hack that we liked to share and something that has worked for us as well. And then step 5, so just building a tiny bit on additional income from what Jo was speaking on before. So successful people work to create wealth and multiple streams of income. Yes, they do. So 3 ideas on how you could make additional income. We've already spoken about that side hustle, like whether that's online. It doesn't have to just be online as well. It could be something physical, it could be anything that's going to be bringing in additional income. I highly recommend looking into that. And even, I know I did this one, like when I was working and I knew I had some extra debt to pay, I just requested additional hours at work. This is another one that's not, it's not something you have to do forever and ever, but it's an option for the season that you're in, right? And then another is, if you've got extra space at home, you could always look at renting out that room. That's not always going to suit everybody, but just trying to really get you thinking about different options and different ways in which you can bring in that additional income, right? Yay. And so that brings us to the end, very quick fire. So that's our 5-step process. So discipline, expense reduction, budget automation, debt reduction, and additional income. I hope you got some value out of all of that. And you still have to stick with me because I'm doing the next module as well. So this one, an overview of property income streams. For those who don't know me, property is my passion. I absolutely love it. I feel like I worked in the career that I worked in for basically to be able to buy property. So I'm going to love talking about this. I love this saying. So this is, I relate this back to purchasing a house. And I think I got this from one of the property coaches that I worked in because, he was big on that as well. So the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. So just, swap that tree with a house, basically. So I've said it, we love property, so many reasons. And in this one, we're just going to give a bit of an overview of property income streams that we have and that we find work really, really well. So the 3 income streams that we're going to talk about are capital growth. So basically that increase in value of your property from the time of purchase. Flips, for those that don't know what flips are, it's basically buying a house that's in need of some repairing or fix-ups or remodeling, and then reselling that. And then hold and rent. So hold and rent, a hold could either be a long-term tenant or it could be for short-term stays like an Airbnb or holiday homes or something like that. So capital growth, wanted to give some examples because this always blows my mind, but and you don't think it at the time. You think, how can your house, increase by that much? But this is truly what happens. So this is a picture of one of our houses, one of our family home actually in New Zealand. We still have this house that we bought in 2011 in Alistown in Lower Hutt for $330,000. If anyone is from the Hutt or knows, that's insane. Like, $330,000 at the time for us was massive, but you couldn't get a house for anywhere near that now. So just goes to show capital growth is a thing. These are showing the rateable valuations, so it's not a person coming in and doing a valuation. These are just the sort of standard valuations they give based on sales around your area, etc. But from between 2011 and 2013, it increased the rateable value to 500,000. We've done very minimal work from then, rose nearly 200K. So that shows a really cool picture of capital growth. And then between 2016 and 2022, went from 700,000 to 1.050. We'd completed renovations over that time. So extended the house, added a bathroom, added a bedroom, did some landscaping, added a basketball hoop, all of that cool stuff. And we actually got a registered valuer come and value that house before we left New Zealand. And that, before the market went all crazy in New Zealand, was valued at 1.4 mil. So 2011 to 2022, when we got it valued, was huge. I can't do that maths in my head right now, but that's a huge jump and a good picture of capital growth. And look, I don't say that to brag or any of that. I just really want to, I suppose, expand belief. Like, I know I've spoken to a few people in the last couple of days asking, is it too late to buy a house now? Like, I feel like I'm past that time. Like, no, you've got 10 years. Like, look what you can do over 10 years. So yeah, super cool. And another reason why I love property as well. So another one is flips. Look at that kitchen on the left. So this is a house that we did in 2021. So my baby girl had just been born 6 months before. Like, who puts green bench tops in a kitchen though? Like, I don't even know when that would have been cool. maybe it was the 80s, but honestly, behind those walls, it was a bit disgusting. So this is an example of a flip that we did. So yeah, so really enjoyed doing this one. It's funny too, because you know, people look at this, and I think if you haven't done renovations before, then you'd look at it and think, oh my gosh, that would be, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it's really not. There's really clever ways that you can, you know, do things and with budget sort of in mind as well. So just some inspiration there for flips. So flips are, again, the ones where you can buy something that needs work, like that awful green, disgusting bench with wood. There was also wood on some of the benches. It was really weird. But yeah, you can see though, before and after. Proud of that one. And then some holds. I've just shown some renovation pictures again, so I really like this one. This is one of our Airbnbs, which is located in Petone in Lower Hutt. And you can see, like, that kitchen's not as offensive as the green one, but it's still not very nice, and it was quite old, and all of the cabinetry was bowed, but we replaced all of that kitchen. We actually did a full reno on this house, kitchen, bathroom, full paint inside, and landscaping. And we did it within, I think it was within about 5 weeks, and I was pregnant with my review at that time. So yeah, super stressful. Putting together kit set furniture for 2 nights in a row was fun. But yeah, just showing, I suppose, we could have done nothing with this one and Airbnb'd it, but we decided that we wanted to sort of appeal to a different market. So this was an example of a hold and a short-term stay. So yeah, lots of possibilities there. And I think calling out to, like, these things can seem super overwhelming. I know I was overwhelmed as well when I thought about it and didn't know anything about renovations and all. But it's all about the plan, and it's all about knowing, you know, knowing what to do and the steps to get there as well. So that's another example. So I hope that that really shows you. Obviously, we spoke through the capital growth, the flips, and then the holds as well. So hopefully that shows you some ways that you can make money via property. And those are 3 of the revenue streams that we have as well. So super passionate about it, and talk about it all day, but I'm going to hand over to my friend Jo, because I've spoken long enough. So go for it, Jo.
Thanks, Mans. Hey, just quickly, I want to ask you a question, and I hope you don't mind me putting you on the spot in front of everybody. But just with your Airbnbs, and I know you showed like just a snippet on one of our posts, but I know you've got 2 Airbnbs. Do you mind, I hope I'm fully putting you on the spot here, like just sharing with everyone like the kind of income that you can make from owning and using Airbnb as another stream of income?
Yes, I am so happy to do that with our friends on the webinar here. We said we weren't going to be embarrassed about this stuff. So, and I'm also super proud of it, and it also blows my mind. So just to give some context, our 2 Airbnbs are based in Lower Hutt in Wellington. So it's not, you know, I wouldn't call it a massive holiday destination. I mean, we loved where we lived, but, you know, it's not like there's, you know, it's not like the Gold Coast, right, where we're living now. One is a 4-bedroom home, family home, and one is a 3-bedroom. I would call it a unit because it's a house, a brick house that's in a big section with 3 houses on that section, on that bit of land. And we actually had our biggest month this month. I just had a look before, a couple of days ago actually. And this is the first month that we've cracked 30K off those 2 houses, which to me is just mind blowing. And then normally though, the normal average month for those 2 houses is anywhere between 18 and 22K, something like that. So again, I don't share that stuff to, you know, brag or any of that. I share it to be like, you know, expand your belief. Like, you might think you need 1 million properties in order to profit from it. But in reality, if you set it up right, you can be really, really clever with what you do. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that, Mans. Thank you so much for sharing. Em just asked in the chat, is that net or gross?
That is gross.
Cool.
Yeah, so tax and GST on top. Yeah.
And I totally lost my train of thought. But isn't that incredible, guys? And thank you for sharing vulnerably and openly. And that's the thing, like when it comes to, you know, the people that you surround yourself with and the conversations that you have, that's just an example of the type of conversation that you can have with different people, but straight away I know for me, like, that builds my belief. Does that like not make you guys think, oh my gosh, is that possible? I can go and do that. Everyone goes and Airbnb's their house. Okay, guys, we are powering through. We're onto our last module, and we're literally going to be 5 or 10 minutes, so please hang in there with us. So obviously we've gone through a lot. We've gone through mindset, we've gone through self-belief, money, finances, all the things. And the most important step that we believe is execution and having a plan and putting something into action. So we wanted to just share a quick process, and this is something that we're going to help with. It's basically what we call a 90-day game plan. So some of you guys may have done this, some of you may not, but what is the purpose of a 90-day game plan? Basically, it's a 90-day focus, or 12 weeks, however you want to break it down. And it's really about making whatever that goal is a priority in your life. It has to be the top two. It's going to be like a 90-day sprint. So it is a time where you go all in, guns blazing, more than you'll typically do on your sort of, oh, just going to cruise along and go for my goals. Okay, so you really want to have massive energy, commitment, focus, and sprint towards your 90-day goal. So, and sometimes to be successful, you do have to do the things that you don't always enjoy doing, right? And that's really how successful people get there. That quote's in front of you. Next slide. It's about to tongue twist. Say successful 10 times in a row. Okay, so how do you create a 90-day game plan? So the first thing that you want to do is actually write out what is your 90-day goal. Let's just say your 90-day goal is to save $10,000, just as an example. You then want to set an affirmation for it. I'll give you guys an example shortly. Customize a morning routine. This is important. A lot of successful people talk about having some kind of morning routine. Now, equally, don't get caught up on that. Everyone's morning routine looks different depending on kids, what time you start work, all the things. But the main thing is create something, get into some good habits, exercise, mindset, all of those things are going to help towards your 90-day game plan. And then creating a 90-day tracker. So basically, this is accountability, and you want to tick it off every day. So day 1, done. Day 2, done. And then what your daily method of success looks like each day. So next slide, please, Mans. What is an affirmation? Have you guys done affirmations? Some of you may have, some of you may not. Let us know in the chat. I know the first time I did these, or I heard about these, they sounded a bit woo-woo, to be honest, like, shame, I'm not saying that, but these are so powerful. So affirmations really are positive statements that can help you to challenge and overcome self-sabotaging and negative thoughts. And when you repeat them often, you actually start to believe them, and you can start to make positive changes. And I can honestly say this has been a game changer for me. As I mentioned earlier, right at the start, really having to change my old mindset, my old negative thoughts and belief patterns. It has affirmations like the power of your words. It's biblical for anyone that is a Christian on here, but it's really speaking life into yourself, especially if you haven't had that spoken into you before. So just quickly, like an affirmation, to give you an example for those that haven't done one before, around my example of saving $10,000. This is what you might say. I'm grateful for the life that I have. I am disciplined, and I have a constant abundance of time, money, and freedom in my life. I attract the right resources, people, and opportunities that will enable me to save $10,000 and buy our first home by November 2023, for example. Put a date in there as well. So the next part of it, next slide, Mans, is what we call like just your daily method of operation, or your daily method of success sheet around the 90 days and what your goal is. So this is, again, some examples around the saving $10,000. It might be every day you want to make your own lunch and take your coffee into work, which, you know, I just calculated it. If I'm spending around $25 a day on lunch and coffee times 5 days of the week, you're looking at a saving around $1,500 over that 90 days. Another DMO that you want to tick off might be reading your money mindset every day and working on your side hustle. So you could add a few of these. I probably wouldn't add more than 5 to 7, but they're obviously key tasks that are going to help you reach whatever that 90-day goal is. So that's really a really quick overview of what we would call a 90-day action plan. And again, that's going to be totally different dependent on what your goal is. And just to recap on our 6-step process to create multiple streams of revenue, as we mentioned, it's a lot of information, but so much value. So we do hope you have got something out of this. Let us know in the chat any takeaways, anything that you guys want to implement. But we'll get straight into the next part of it. So I'll hand it over to you, Mans, our exciting announcement.
Hey, thank you so much, everyone. Gosh, that went so fast. I really enjoyed that, and I really hope you got value from that. And I hope that, you know, I hope that you've got some stuff or an action plan you're going to do following on from that, because that's what it's all about, putting it into action and starting to work towards whatever it is you're working towards. So our exciting announcement, we did allude to it in the beginning, but it is that we are introducing and launching for the very first time our 2-to-1 coaching program. So we have called this program Rise. We are so super excited. We have, you know, put so much time and effort and energy into this because we are passionate. We've realized, it's funny, partly due to the podcast, partly due to the work we've been doing over the last 10 years, but Joe and I are both passionate about, you know, pouring into women and getting them to get the best, you know, out of their lives. So now, if you're interested in Rise, is to really rise into the confident, empowered woman that you are, taking full control of your financial future and building multiple revenue streams to establish your legacy and live a life you love. And we hope we've shown you some ways to do that in tonight's masterclass already. But for the offer itself, who's it actually for? Like, who do we think we can help? So it's for so many different types of people. And it's funny because when I look at this list, Joe and I have been in, actually, Joe, we're probably, if you're not on mute, we've been everything in this list, right? We've struggled with our self-belief and confidence. Like, we've really wanted more in life, but actually don't even know where to start. We had terrible mindsets, so, you know, something we wanted to grow and evolve. It's for you if you're seeking fulfillment in whatever area of your life that's in. Sick of that 9-to-5 grind. I know I just was in that bucket not so long ago. Suffering in debt and seeking a plan of action to get out of it. So we gave you guys a bit of an overview of that tonight. But there's so much more to it that we can help with. Also taking control of finances. You might want to start an online business. You might want to package up your expertise, or like us, like I know Joe and I, we were like, what do we even know? Like, we don't really know what we could share. But when we actually took time to sit down and think about it, it's funny what you can realize. It might be that you want to purchase your first home, or want to start a property portfolio and move from, you know, homeowner to property investor. Or you want to create, like, you know, the revenue I was speaking about with Airbnb might sound really awesome to some of you out there. So you might want to start looking at ways to do that. What's included with it is six 2-to-1 calls. So I get tongue twisted with 2-to-1. So you'll get, what's really cool, I think, is you'll get Joe and I together. And like she said in the beginning, we've got such different experiences, and we've both spent a lot of money on coaching in lots of different forms. And we've learned a lot from those coaches, and we're sort of combining all of that together, right? And delivering that value as one package, really, to the people that we want to work with. So you'll also get, it's personalized, right? So there'll be, we'll figure out what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve, but the calls that we have with you will be personalized to whatever situation you're in. There's worksheets and PDFs to support the calls, action items, homework to complete, some Voxer. So if you don't have Voxer, it's a chat capability that you'll have access to certain hours of the day. And like, honestly, I've underlined this one because it's so important, but accountability partners, like people that, we're going to be super supportive, but we're also going to really make you step into whatever it is you're wanting to step into and step up and do the things that you need to do, right? So accountability can't be understated. Jo, before I move on, did you have anything you wanted to add to any of that yet?
No, I think you have made it super clear and nailed it, my friend.
Okay, cool. Moving on. So value. We were like, what's the value? Well, we were thinking about the amount of money we've invested into other coaches and other things. And, we really value that at, nearly 10 grand, but don't worry. We're not saying it's 10 grand. We're just trying to tell you what the value is. We've got a special for tonight as a thank you for all of you that are attending, and it's for a 24-hour period. So that is the price here, 2,444 angel numbers for a full paid in full option, or there's a payment plan as well. So we really think that there's just so much value that we're going to offer within this program. But I feel like those places where they're like, but wait, there's more, those like TV ads. But wait, there is more though. So we also thought for all of you that are here, as a special thank you, that we would add a freebie on top of that package as well. So anyone who applies within the 24-hour period, and if you're accepted, just a call out, we'll review applications and see if it's a fit, because obviously we want it to work both ways. So if we think we can help, then we would love to work with you. If we don't think it's quite right, then we would let you know that as well. So the freebie on top is, you're also lucky, an additional week for free where Jo would provide a personalized health goals plan. So using all of her knowledge and experience there. So amazing. So to recap, this is the special. This is what it includes. It includes those 6 calls, includes the package 2-to-1 coaching with us, and the health goals plan. So how do you do it? So what to do now? We have an application form. Jo, are you going to chuck that in the chat? Oh, she's already done it. Nice one, Jo. So this will take you to a Google form. You can complete that and we will receive it and have a look at it. We'll be looking at them within the next 24 hours. And also to note, we'll be taking 5 ladies. So we've opened it up for 5. Obviously, it's our first coaching offer, and we really want to pour as much as we can into whoever joins is going to be treated like a queen. I'll tell you that much. We're talking about it today. So 5 spots, have a think, 24 hours to fill in the form, and then we'll be back in touch. So that pricing that we spoke about will be valid for the next 24 hours. And just to note, we are going to do a proper launch via social media and other channels, our podcasts, etc., starting from Thursday. So the price that we advertise at then is not going to be the one we've just shown you now. So you'll see that as well. So this special really is just a massive thank you to all of you who have taken the time and supported us and been interested in what we have to offer. So that is us. Jo,
and just I'll add on to that as well. So to be super clear, it's not one of those we're only taking 5 and then we take 10. We are actually only taking 5 because, like Amanda said, we've got a lot of things that happen outside of this, and it is something that we're taking very seriously and we want to give everything to. So we are really only taking 5, just to be super clear. And I think that's everything. So we're going to open it up for a Q&A here, Mans.
Yeah, any questions?
We know we have gone over time a little bit. It's not island of 5 people, guys. It really is only 5. Hey, if you guys need to go, we completely understand. But if you want to stay on, we're going to stay on for 10 minutes. For absolutely Q&A, feel free to chuck it in the chats, and we can go from there.
We can.
Ursula, do you want to, it might be easier to chuck the questions in the chat actually, because of the whole awesome technology muting and all the things.
Thank
Yeah, for those that need to go, a massive thank you. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. If you haven't shared on stories, we'd love for you to share a little something. If it's added value, please tag us, our personal pages, our On the Rise podcast. That would mean a lot to us. But yeah, any questions, throw them in. Yes, here's a question for you, Mans. Do you have to be qualified as a realtor or have a cert in real estate at all?
Do you mean, Amber, do you mean for renovating and flipping houses? If that's the question, oh yeah, okay. Then no, you don't have to. With one thing you do have to consider when you're flipping is setting up basically a flip company. So we have a company we use to, and it's not super hard. You can talk to an accountant and talk to talk to a business manager and accountant to figure it out. But basically setting up a company name that you would buy the flipping house in and selling it via that, because there are GST considerations when you're doing it. So no, don't have to be a realtor, but you do have to do some background work in order to do it. Yeah. Thanks, Ange. No worries, Amber, all good. If you have any more questions, you'll find our On the Rise podcast page. You can just flip them through there. We can answer more. Oh, yeah, no, that's a great question, Rita. So what suggestions would you recommend to limit or avoid those scary Airbnb stories where guests have trashed it? Yeah, I mean, I think one of the ways, and it sounds weird, but one of the ways that we've tried to mitigate it is we've been really ruthless with our price point. So we charge a nightly rate that we feel isn't going to attract people like that, because it's just out of their price range. In saying that, I know places that have been trashed. My brother has an Airbnb in the Blue Mountains, and some disgusting stuff was happened there. Stuff was smeared across the wall. I won't tell you what it is, you can guess, but it does happen. But in saying that, Airbnb have an amazing insurance policy. So as part of the amount that you pay, so you pay, it's automatically deducted. The host pays a cost, and I know if you've booked through an Airbnb before, you would see like your additional costs that are added on by Airbnb. But what it gives you as a host is an insurance policy. I think it's up to $1 million. It may have changed slightly. And they're very, very good at responding. So we've had, in the coming up 3 years of being Airbnb hosts, we've had one incident where we've had to contact the insurance claim people, and the money was paid out in full in, I think it was within 48 hours or something. They're very, very, very good. And yeah, so I think it's one of those things though, right? Maybe area is something to consider as well, like where you're actually going to have a house or considering converting a house to Airbnb. But price point would definitely be a big tip from my end, because you want to scare the losers away. That does happen. People are horrible. They can be when it's not their house, Yeah. Yeah, no worries, Rita. All good. Oh, what are both of your thoughts? Oh, thank you, Bridgie. Love you.
Thanks, Bridgie.
Thank you. And then Ursula's got, it's about module 4, number 3, budget automation. What are both of your thoughts in regards to the cash approach apart from direct debits, as in cash allocation for food, fuel, allowance, etc.? What do you think? We used 5 years ago and we love. Or like actually physically getting cash out. Personally, I wasn't good with that. I think that's good because it's a physical thing that you're holding and touching, right? So I can see how that would work. But I really think that, I don't know, my opinion, it really is personal preference. I think the biggest thing is to make sure you know what that amount is and don't go over that amount, whether that's a physical money or it's on a card and digital. Jo, did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, the best way that's worked for me is having 2 separate cards. So one card was, you know, for the food, the fuel, etc., family, you know, that sort of thing. And then I had a separate card that was for my personal allowance that I could spend on whatever I wanted. So it was good to keep it separate so that probably so I didn't spend the grocery bill on myself. But that's probably be the best system that I've used myself. Yay. Shall we wrap it up there, Mans?
Yes. There's no other questions. And remember, we're always available. We love getting questions and tags and all of that via our podcast Instagram. So if you have any things that come up over the next, you know, day or so, please just, fire them through. We're happy to answer them, Jo.
Yeah, and even with the application form as well, like if you're not 100% sure, or, you know, you've still got questions, just complete it. We'll touch base with you guys and, you know, we can go from there. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night. See ya.
Appreciate you so much. Bye.